Welcome to another lovely bundle of interviews. Today we're kicking off with Monica Kade, who is a writer and a communication consultant. We talk a lot about copy in this one, which is a really, really important topic, especially if you are a personal brand, because communicating with your audience, your reader, your community are really, really vital skills. So there's lots and lots of strategies in this episode. Then I talk to Christina Pickworth, who is an agent, but she's also the founder of This Mama Does. She writes so brilliantly. I love following her on Instagram, and also whenever I see her in person, it's such a delight. Thirdly, Anya Hayes, who is an author, a speaker, and a Pilates teacher. She wrote a fantastic book that we speak about in this episode called The Supermum Myth. So vital, because that sense that when you have a baby, you still have to be all of the things to all of the people all of the time. It just is not the one, especially when you're depleted and you're at that point of extreme tiredness. So whether or not you are a parent, this is a really great episode about boundaries and self-care and some really practical, juicy exercises that you can take with you and implement whenever you need them. Fourthly, I am talking to Lacey Felton, who is the co-founder of the Hunter Collective. Lacey has, and this seems a very extreme way of saying it, but I truly believe this. She's reinvented a industry that she wanted to still be part of, but it no longer worked for her. She has governed and navigated enormous change. If you are feeling in that mindset of wanting to shake something up, this is going to be the episode for you. The way she speaks, she's so fearless, she's so gregarious. I know that it will inspire you. As always, if you are thinking of making some changes, making some moves, making it real, making it happen, you know where to come. Come and check out all of my offerings in my shop, nikiraby.com/shop. Don't forget to book in your free 15-minute session as well. Just email me hello@nikiraby.com, and I hope you enjoy all these episodes. See you in a bit.
I think it's really important. I think the way that you communicate yourself in the world is what's going to attract your tribe, so to speak. However, your language is all that we have, especially over the internet. You know, you've got a bunch of words to communicate who you are. So you want to do that really well. And I think adding story in is really important because it allows people to see the real you, because on a screen, your personality doesn't come through. So you have to find a way of capturing that. So whether that's through words or like now a video or audios, I think stories help people connect with who you truly are. And that's when they want to work with you, because they either feel like, oh, I really feel like this person could help me with where I want to go, or maybe you've had a similar experience. Maybe you've gone through a life, some sort of big trauma or a big challenge, and your experience through that can help other people who are now going through the same thing. You know, I think we're all in this life together and we can all support each other, and I think we do that very much through stories. So that's how I found, for me, it's been really beneficial.
Fantastic. And I'd love to talk a bit more about life as an entrepreneur and for you putting yourself out there and becoming visible. How do you practically manage your week, and how do you find that balance of growing but also being in your business?
I think it's really important. Like for me, it's always about starting my day right. It's important for me to make sure that I'm connected to myself. So the way that I do that, it's making sure that I'm exercising, whatever that is on that particular day. And I love being in nature. I love being by the ocean, which is why I live by the ocean, because I know that I'm a better person when I'm by the water.
Yes.
And so when I'm setting myself up in that capacity, that's already like the foundation for good things to happen. And then I guess I do structure my days. I mean, I think the beautiful thing is like I don't have to work 9 to 5. So, my days are flexible, but I always like to write down what it is that I'm going to get done. And then I think if I'm working on myself and doing the things that fill me up personally, then when I step into my business, then I'm stepping into it from a place of being full. And so whatever that it demands from me, then hopefully, not always, sometimes, I mean, there are times that I don't, but most of the time then I can deliver what I need to because I'm not coming from a place of emptiness or really being tired or something like that.
It's all a bit serendipitous, actually. I had an email through from them, I think probably just because I've been a not on the high street customer for years, and it just came through and said that they were having one of their pitch up sessions where people with small businesses could go along and pitch to them directly. And I'd applied online by this point and been rejected. So I thought, well, I'll go and do the pitch up thing instead, see if that's any better. Because they'd given me a little bit of feedback. I think it was when I'd only got the baby range and they said, oh, you need more than one product and then, come back to us. And I got the second to last pitch slot or the last pitch slot. And it felt a bit kind of like, oh, lucky, let's just see. And I went and they kind of signed me up within about 3 minutes.
Yes!
Which was a bit amazing. Especially as my husband was completely unconvinced that they were gonna take.
It's always nice when you've got a team player in the background. Like,
yeah, that was lovely.
Really
that was lovely, full of support. But yeah, no, that was a bit mad, really. And then that really boosted my confidence. I think to have someone like that go, oh yeah, this is a good idea. We like what you're doing. That was great. That was really great for me. It was a good moment.
And where do you think it's going? Do you have big plans for the business of how you're going to move it forward?
Not really, is the honest answer. I should probably say that I have this massive strategy.
I'm going to sell it in 2019.
Maybe I should have more of a plan, but I'm quite busy.
Yes.
And I tend to just go from one thing to the next thing, and that's probably not the best way to run a business, but that's the only way I have right now, so that's what I'm doing. I mean, the t-shirts have been a fun new thing, and I also do a few kind of greetings cards, and I'm now designing a few of those for Scribbler, which has been another kind of surprising twist in the tale, but lots of fun. It's sort of the dream, really, to be working with Scribbler. So I don't know, really. Who knows what will be next? Who knows? I mean, I'd like to do some more t-shirts, I think, probably, because that's fun and something different. But I was terrified to launch t-shirts.
Yeah, we were just talking before we started recording that pressing publish or setting something live, it just makes you doubt everything, even if you know that it's really good what it is you've produced.
Well, I think as well something like this with the t-shirts. I mean, I'm not fashionable or cool in any way. I'm a size 16. Plugging an item of clothing, me doing it is perhaps not a natural choice. But then I'm a mum and my market is other mums.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, well, do you know what? It'd be fine. It'd be fine. And so far, so good. It has been all right. But that was certainly one of the fears, that I don't fit the fashion moulds. But then maybe that's why it works, because I absolutely don't. And I'm not trying to be something that I'm not. And I think that's important in business. You have to be true to yourself.
Yes.
And just be real, really, I think.
You know, this is the thing. Whenever I do go to Instagram events, I never take any pictures, and it's partly due to forgetting, but it's also mainly because I just am slightly awkward at that kind of thing. I'm not brilliant at taking selfies. So that side of Instagram, I'm always going to be slightly inadequate at. But the interesting thing about sort of the writing the Supermum myth and being on Instagram, it's really drawn out that pushing my own comfort zone barriers, because I was always the person who would make plans or have plans, and then at the last minute I would chicken out because I just felt too insecure, or I felt tired, or I'm looking, you know, I realised actually that it was a social anxiety that I was letting myself off the hook with, sort of, you know, feeling like I'm tired, or all these excuses would come up in my head, and I would end up not going to things that because of just self-sabotage, basically. But it's been interesting over the last 2 years, and certainly since the Supermum myth has come out, I've been much more kind of like, right, okay, you just got to show up. You just got to, it doesn't matter if you are awkward and you don't take a selfie, and, you know, you can always go home. But I've really kind of forced myself, makes it sound like I'm really reluctant, but I've just not given myself the chance to let myself off the hook, basically. Unless obviously I'm not feeling well or my kids are ill or all that kind of stuff. But and so that's been amazing for me, that actually I've genuinely found that Instagram has drawn out a piece of my character which I've sort of always let dominate my my social and networking. You know, I don't like that word, but certainly with career, I would always be the last person who would go to any kind of networking drinks or anything. The idea brings me out in hives. Whereas
I
now,
just took a big gulp then, like, woof, yes, it was.
I know,
just at the thought.
Yeah, and I just never, like, when I used to have a in inverted commas proper job, you know, I just didn't ever do that kind of, I never put myself forward and, you know, kind of stepped into the limelight. I was always that sort of hoping everyone would see how competent I was at my job, but not actually willing to put myself out there. And it's just now realising how so many women do that, and you know, and everyone, if only we could all see ourselves the way someone else objectively sees ourselves. And I think it's that kind of wanting to champion other women, because you kind of know that it's very rare for women to fully champion themselves, you know, and just trying to get that kind of elicit that a little bit more of a spark that I think everyone's got inside them, but we often just don't take the time to let it glow. You know, we're too tired, we're too busy, we're too shy, we're too.
And kids give you a whole load of other excuses, like, oh, you know, he looks like he might have an ear infection a week on Tuesday. Yeah. I feel some more snot is coming, you know, or, oh gosh, well, we better not, just in case. And we're trying to cram so much into our lives all of the time and get it right. And it can, that pressure on ourselves. And also I know, and this is what I try to do, I guess, with my clients and with Instagram, is have that understanding and being that champion of somebody, because I know myself how hard it is sometimes.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
You know, if you've had a hellish day with kids of, you know, who have not done anything that you want them to do, or you're just feeling just below par, the last thing you want to do is go, right, let's just open my laptop and be all inspiring and write a new blog post.
And I think that's the thing, because it is, you know, confidence is such a kind of slippery entity. It's so tenuous. It feels so amazing when you feel confident, but then it can just go like, it's like a candle, you know, it can just be blown out immediately. And I think that's the thing, in the times when your candle is flickering and being blown, you just need to have someone to shade it and put their hand to cup it, and just say, look, you're amazing, and what that can unlock is extraordinary, I think.
So how did you find those people that were going to really help you move to the next level?
So for me, it was based on contacts and you know, just putting myself out there and making myself available. It wasn't comfortable. It was more just chatting to one person and then that person recommending you to another person, and then you make a decision, am I going to go to this or am I not going to go? And I just decided that I was just going to go. And I would, you know, every event I went to, I just tried
talk to at least one person, you know, have that courage to just say hello and ask a question or make a point or something. And that would be my goal for each event. And that's why my network grew. And you know, you just go back to your mates and you just say, like, you know, I'm doing this. If you've got any like help or feedback, or if you know anyone that could help me with it, I really appreciate chatting to them.
Yes.
And I spent a lot of time on the phone and meeting people for coffee, talking about nothing related to my business or nothing related to my concept. It was just, would you please explain to me how you built your business? Would you please explain to me how you took these steps? Where's your kid right now? Like, who's doing this? How does that work? And I think a lot of the time people kind of focus on how they're so in their head, you know, like, how is this good for my business? Is that connection going to bring me any money?
Yes.
And it's not about that. You know, like most of the connections that I've made for Hunter Collective or for myself personally have never stemmed from what can I get out of it. It's literally like, they're really interesting. They're generous enough to have coffee with me for half an hour. You know, thank you very much. I'm going to take that coffee.
Yes.
And let's see what happens.
And you can get so much out of those. If you ask the right questions, you go away from those meetings. I know, because I have that curious mindset as well of, you know, I don't think I've moved on from my 3-year-old self of why,
Yeah.
you know, that's sort of how my brain works. But wherever I've been to a networking event, or just even having a conversation with somebody at a wedding or whatever, you know, and asking really good questions, you always come away going, oh, that's what it's all about. Or, you know, I remember asking questions before we were talking about having children of like, are kids expensive? How much do they cost? And trying to get my head around those sort of prices, like I would do if I was, I don't know, growing a new arm of my business or something like that. So, I think that's so important. And then in terms of investment, I don't think we've spoken about this on the podcast. How did that, you obviously you don't have to share the figures or your long credit card number or anything like that, but like, how did that process go for you? Because I know sometimes as soon as you start talking about investment or lawyers or tax, people immediately at that point just go, oh no, I'm out now. This feels a bit serious, and I don't really know anything about it. Because I guess we're not taught unless somebody shows us. What did that look like for you?
Well, for me, it was a real mixed bag experience. So I knew that I believed in what I was doing, and so I put some money in myself. So I had what they class as like skin in the game, so that I was being taken seriously. And when I was most of my investment first time round has come from my clients. Like, they're people that I've known for 10 years plus, who basically just love me and I love them. Like, it's most of the time your first round of investment will come from your friends and family.
Yeah.
Like, really simple. They don't care necessarily what the idea is. They just care about you and they want you to have the best opportunity and they want you to do well. So I was very blessed in the sense that my first round of investment came from people that I already knew. But saying that, you've got to really pick your audience, because I would sit down with people and I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm looking to do this and I need some money to do this. I don't really know how I'm doing it. And they'd look mortified. Like, they don't want to talk to you about that.
It's so ugly. Things get so awkward, isn't it? When as soon as people start talking about money, like, don't ask me.
God, yeah.
I don't want to ask.
They want to talk about nice things. They don't want to talk about money. And I'm a hairdresser. Like, if you show me a spreadsheet, I burst out laughing. I've got no idea how to use a spreadsheet. Like, no idea at all. So when I was talking about investment, I was talking about it literally. I was nuts and bolts, bare bones, give it to me straight. What does this mean? And I think my naivety on that sense and my complete lack of I didn't know I didn't know the terminology. I just was like, what does this mean? And I kept again asking questions and being really sort of like ABC about it. That actually put me like
it allowed me to make some mistakes and also gain some knowledge that maybe if I'd have been a bit more pretentious and had a few buzzwords that I probably wouldn't understand now.
Totally.
So again, it's about honesty. Like, and when you're talking about money, and like people putting in money, it's not really about the figure. It's that, like, there, for me, it's about what do they believe I'm going to deliver and what do I believe I can deliver. And like when I say I'm going to do this, like, am I actually going to do it?
Yes.
And can I back myself? Because they're backing me financially to do it, but can I, like, they believe in what I'm doing and I can't let them down. And like, I've so much respect for the people that put money into Hunter Collective, because God, like, they went out on such a limb, because I was 6 months pregnant at the time as well. So
as if you didn't have enough going on, isn't it? That funny thing, like, oh, let's just do that as well. Let's throw it in the mix.
Yeah. So do you know what? Like, this is one of the things about what I love about Hunter Collective, and what really motivated me and got me out of bed was that, like, a very, very, like, less than 10% of all investment goes to women.
God.
And it, like, that really drives me nuts. And I just think of all these incredible businesses that women are creating so that they can, you know, they have more flexibility around their lifestyle, and yet no one's supporting them really to do that. So when I was in conceptually building Hunter Collective, I was so motivated, because I was just like, I'm going to be one of those women that gets that money, like, and I'm going to do this. And when I got pregnant, the amount of people that I went to say, like, I'm doing this and I'd like to do this, and I'm, you know, if you know anyone that you think might invest in me or has an idea of how I can grow my business, you know, like anything. And it wasn't just about money, it was about the learning about the business and running the business. And it was amazing how many men and women both took me aside very kindly, very, very considerately, but sort of said, you know, you're probably going to want to take a year off after you have your baby, and you're probably going to want to, like, not worry about stuff like this because it's really stressful, and just don't focus on this right now. Like, really enjoy your pregnancy and enjoy the baby and blah, blah, blah. And I love, like, it was great. Thank you very much. But that was not what I wanted to hear. My pregnancy was a catalyst for my business. It gave end date. It gave me like a time frame to work to, and it gave me some serious ammunition. And I would rock into that meeting and I'd sit down and I'd be like, if you're going to commit, you've got 8 weeks, you've got 7 weeks, you've got 5 weeks.
Did you go a bit gangster with it? Was it a bit lockstock, like, right, I'll see you there on the top of the car park?
Yeah, and also, like, you know, I'd just be like, right, are you in or you're out?
Yes.
Like, 'cause it's happening, and I've got a real time frame now, and I had to make a decision really early on that I was, you know, I had a business partner, now I had commitments to him. And I was like, you know, I'm going to have my child, and I love my child, but I also have already committed completely to building this business.